Is nature being loved to death? If you've got one family out in a massive natural area, sure, they stepped on a few ferns, but who's going to notice? And in the city, those few ferns and thousands of people crossing them, all of a sudden the balance tips. Kind of make something that has the delicacy and the kind of vulnerability of some aspects of nature that we all appreciate, that we've evolved to connect with, and have that happen under the kind of constant barrage of use that cities provide. My name is Nate Cormier.
We've always integrated nature, natural environments. My name is Staehli. I am a principal of Design Company in Seattle. Probably it started from our work as what I would say is park engineers or campus engineers, working on zoos and interpretive areas, because you had the built environment, the structural, civil, typical civil things needed to respond to more of a natural environment, so that when you were in an exhibit, you were immersed, and a catch basin or a vault didn't, draw your eye away. From that, we sort of transition those to the way we looked at streets. I think the element now that we've been able to systemize more is getting the plants to function in a way like a civil infrastructure element. One thing we're working on right now is to get the plants to notify vehicles and bikes that there's a change of condition. So we're using the plant texture and color instead of striping. I think it's really interesting to look at how designs in general can maintain over time and or adapt. And so the example that I just gave about using plants to signal a change in mobility issues may not be needed after 5 years, because by that time it may have changed culturally.
I think some interesting, exploration of that idea of compressing nature, this kind of hyper nature or third nature and those things, comes to bear when you realize that physically small, space that we are putting nature into has to provide that tremendous diversity of experiences, because we as humans still need that, deep within us. We've all co-evolved with all those species. We still want to have some exposure to texture and light and seasonal change and all of those things that make us kind of connected to nature. We want to have those experiences in the city. So I think if our goal is to retain that compressed experiential side of nature, even in a limited footprint, that's where all of our jobs are important, to be able to make that durable, practical, sustainable. One of the ones sort of earlier in my career that I visited and felt really moved by was Van Valkenburg's Teardrop Park, in the middle of Battery Park City. Small footprint, but just this incredible range of texture, materiality, the way they manipulated light, and you got the sense that people could visit a space like that and have an authentic experience of natural systems and qualities in a very dense urban setting. What does it take to bring that standard of care, not just the design and thoughtfulness that went into making it, but it's in Battery Park City. I don't know the details of it, but I bet they take pretty good care of their spaces. And so if we try to translate that now to public settings and budgets, and again, at a planning policy level, how do you raise those as much as possible? But then for those of us who have to kind of take some of those as givens, how do we get as creative as we can in kind of bringing that to the masses? All of those things about kind of changing people's perceptions and the decision making about how they interact with nature in the city is really, for me, the kind of that thing I'm always gnawing on, trying to figure out how to influence.
I'll use the word empathy and start to putting yourself into the position of another discipline. I think it helps you understand how your discipline reacts to that discipline. The way we approach it is a lot of cross-training. So we get people to try to put themselves in the position of the other discipline. In our office, we mix them up, both by discipline and by personality, so that people have more exchanges of ideas and can solve problems together. And I think that's the key thing, is our infrastructure is complicated, and landscape architecture as a tradition actually involved other disciplines, and then maybe the world siloed for a while, and I think we're coming back to the place where we look more at systems and understand we need to work together.